Giancarlo's a jump shooter. Okay, he's locked in. He's locked in.
Stanton, deep! Goodness! Big G! With a big flop!
Mama, there go that man again. Mama, there go that man again.
Yeah, that man last night was enormous, and the Marlins even the three-game series at a game apiece. So this is Sunday, and so this is game 3. And what has been a delicious series. Mets and Marlins, lots of drama, a lot at stake. Hi, everybody. Rich Waltz along with Eduardo Perez. Really a postseason feel on Friday night and again last night.
It's a great day to be a fan of the Marlins after a big win yesterday and watching Giancarlo Stanton go 4 for 5. Oh my, what is he going to do today?
All right, you just saw, along with Dontrelle Willis' narration, the long home run, but the 4 hits, and each one was a little bit different.
It was, and it was the patience and being able to get ready at the plate and get ready early. And speaking with Barry Bonds, that's one thing he wanted him to focus. You see when he leans in and puts that foot down, he's able to recognize pitches and be able to stay back and use his hands well. We saw it on that 2-0 hanging curveball for the home run, and then on the base hit to right field, that's when you know he's locked in, when he's able to drive the ball on the ground. And this one, why not? We're talking 72 mile per hour, base hit the other way. Giancarlo had it going. It was a good night for him.
The matchup for Stanton and the rest of the Marlins, though, is a lefty. Steven Matz, bright young pitcher for the New York Mets, and Stanton against Matz, 3 for 5 with a couple homers.
And Steven Matz has been struggling as of late against Giancarlo. This is a very good matchup for him. He's been leaving the baseball up. Steven Matz, in order to be successful today, has to be able to pound the inside part of the plate. If he's not doing that, the Marlins should get to him early. The Chicago Cubs last week got to him second time around the lineup. That's something to watch for.
Jose Fernandez was terrific last night. The 5 spot in the rotation is up, and here is Jose Urena making his second start. If he can duplicate this start, his first, the Marlins will be quite pleased.
They will. Juan Nieves, Don Mattingly wants him to get outs and keep the ball down. Let his infielders work. If the infielders are getting a lot of ground balls, it will be a very productive day, and you can see him going through that lineup not once but twice.
It's a Hall of Fame Sunday. Induction ceremonies going on in Cooperstown. Here we've got the Fish and the Mets. Mound maneuvers. What's happening tomorrow night? We'll discuss when we return. of Miami Marlins baseball. And on this South Florida Sunday, it's Marlins and Mets, and Jessica Blaylock, Jeff Nelson.
Hey, Rich, when you take a look at the Marlins starting rotation, Wei-Yin Chen is due up next, but now reports are coming out that could change. Wei-Yin Chen may not make his scheduled start tomorrow. He faced the Phillies this past Wednesday. He only made it through 5 1/3 innings. He allowed 4 runs. That included a 2-run home run. First off, Nelly, what have you seen so far from Wei-Yin Chen this season? Because he's been inconsistent at times.
Yes, and this is a big concern because this is your number 2 guy going down on a crucial part of the year when you're in a pennant race and also coming down to the trade deadline. His command issues, the big innings, his breaking ball was really flat, not as sharp as it has been. And when he misses out over the plate, and the opposing hitters are really taking advantage of it. You see that 19 starts, almost a 5 ERA in 110 innings. That's not Wei-Yin Chen. You know, we're used to last year seeing him in Baltimore, had a great year pitching in the American League, and he had great command. He likes to pitch up in the zone when he starts working the corners. He hasn't been able to do that. And that breaking ball, he hasn't been able to get over. It's very flat, especially the last 2 starts.
Now, Wei-Yin Chen did say after his last start that he didn't feel as good on the mound as he felt before, but the Marlins have not confirmed any type of injury to Chen. If they make a change, they're thinking about calling up Jarred Cozart. As you see some of his numbers from the minors, command's still an issue for Cozart.
It is, but he's getting a second chance, just like Jose Urania, and hopefully he can capitalize on that. You know, last year, 33 walks in 69 2/3. That's too many, almost 5 walks per 9. You look at when he was up first, 15 walks in the 14 2/3 innings in the 3 starts he had earlier this year. So when he comes up, gets that second chance, this is his time. Prove to them that you can be a big leaguer and stay in this league.
If we hear anything, we will let you know in game. If not, Don Mattingly is supposed to address it in his post-game comments. Coming up next, it is the series finale between the Marlins and the Mets. Miami has the momentum heading into this one after getting a win in Game 2.
Fox Sports Florida is brought to you by Dodge. Visit Dodge.com or your local dealer today. By your local Toyota dealers. Let's go places. By Southwest Transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. And by Lexus of Pembroke Pines, price, service, selections. You're gonna love us. Jose Urania on his way out, the fish, and the Mets to decide this 3-game series. Terry Collins' lineup looks like this on this Sunday. It's brought to you by UHealth Sports Medicine.
Jose Reyes continues to be leading off and playing third base, with Curtis Granderson playing right field, hitting second. Yoenis Cespedes third, and James Loney in the cleanup spot playing first base. Kelly Johnson and Asdrubal Cabrera, both middle infielders, trying to snap a 1-for-17 streak so far in this series. In the 5 and 6 hole, Michael Conforto playing center field for the first time in his career, starting there. Rene Rivera, last start was very good in Chicago. He'll be behind the plate, and on the mound, Steven Matz will be hitting ninth.
Urena making just his second start. Remember, he was up in the bullpen. When the Marlins sent him back down to New Orleans, they stretched him out as a starter. And a real nice start against the Phillies. He'll try to follow that up against the Mets. And the big word for Urena is stay down. Stay down in the zone with that fastball and that really good fading changeup. He's 1-0 to Jose Reyes. With Curtis Granderson, Yoenis Cespedes coming up as well. Reyes a pain in the neck in game 1. 3 hits, scored 2 runs. Marlins kept him in check last night. He didn't reach base until a 9th inning single. Looked like he went, and Toby Basner, the home plate umpire, says that's a strike. Angel Hernandez is at first, Will Little out at second, and Ted Barrett down at third base. .96 miles an hour. Yeah, Urena can touch upper 90s with the fastball. And that's what makes that, when he's on, that 90, 91 mile an hour power changeup so good. Full count, 3-2.
See the grip of that split finger right there.
Reyes goes after it in the air. Ozuna lines it up and makes the catch. Miami having a terrific defensive year. Southwest Airlines plots the course for today. Yelich, Ozuna, Stanton. Martin Prado and Miguel Rojas at first base. They're on the corners. Echeverria and Dietrich up the middle, and JT Realmuto gets the start with Urena. Look at Rojas. Remember, Chris Johnson last night fouled a pitch off his foot. And of course, Rojas hits lefties quite well. And with Matt starting, you've got Rojas, who's very good wherever he plays defensively at first base. Granderson, Urena snares it, fires to first in time. So 2 outs here in the first. The 24-year-old out of the Dominican Republic, who has been in the Marlins organization since he signed way back in 2008. Yoenis Cespedes now. Well, for Cespedes, an interesting series.
This is how Don Mattingly wants to write it up. You get Yoenis Cespedes at the plate, no one on, 2 outs. Good RBI guy, probably the most consistent RBI guy the Mets have had this season, with runners in scoring position.
Almost hit him. And the count 1-0. Well, he's done that drive-in runs in this series. Had 2 sacrifice flies and a double in game 1. 2 more hits and an RBI single last night in game 2. Fastball misses in. There's Terry Collins with a lot of injuries. The Mets and the Marlins have been dueling. The Fish up a game and a half in both the East and in that wild card chase. 2-1.
No secret what the Marlins are trying to do against Cespedes, pound them hard in. Urena not afraid of coming in at all. You see a lot of pitchers, a lot of young pitchers have the inability of not being able to throw that fastball, especially on big guys, moving their feet. Well, the first pitch to Yoenis really had him moving his feet. Now with that sinker, hits it right off his foot.
Cespedes has that custom guard that protects both the foot and part of the shin, and it hit right on the top of that guard. Still painful though.
But you see the padding right there. There's not a lot of padding on the corners of it. It's thicker right in the center of it, and I guarantee you he's probably been hit there one too many times in the past.
Ureña gets a strike. I wonder if on the little Cespedes drawing on the guard, if that Cespedes has a guard on. I mean, shouldn't you pencil in another guard on on the Cespedes drawing?
See how it's thicker right in the center?
Yeah. Got him. Well, a nice sequence there by Ureña. Cespedes grimaces in pain, and this game's underway. One. Don Mattingly's lineup has a few surprises in it. It's brought to you by University of Miami Sports Medicine.
Well, leading off, first baseman Miguel Rojas hits lefties really well, swinging the bat. Excellent in this ballpark with Martin Prado in the 2 spot. Christian Yelich, boy, has he swung a nice bat. Best numbers of his career in the 3 spot. Giancarlo Stanton, we know about his night yesterday. Marcell Ozuna, JT Realmuto, Derek Dietrich, Adeiny Echeverria playing shortstop, and on the mound hitting 9th, Jose Ureña.
Here is Rojas, and he leads it off against Steven Matz, 25-year-old lefty out of Stony Brook. His numbers so far this year, his numbers against the Marlins, not so good. 0-2 with an ERA of over 9. But against the rest of the league, his ERA right about 3. Battling a bone spur in his left elbow and trying to pitch through it. Changeup and a strike. It's 1-2. Rojas has a couple of hits in this series and has hit lefties quite well. A .368 average and a .447 slugging percentage. Rojas into right center field. Conforto dives and got it. Well, how about that? Terry Collins started the series by saying he probably wouldn't put Conforto out in center because of how big the outfield is. And look what he gets.
To start off his career, not a bad start, laying out Great play by Michael Conforto. Watch the jump in center field. Reads it immediately. Takes the right angle to it. Well, we know one thing. Going to his left, check. Pretty good.
Juan Lagares has been out in center field the first 2 games. Here's Prado. Prado 3 hits in the series. And he had an interesting night last night. He looked baffled the first 3 at bats. Struck out in all 3 against Jacob deGrom. But then RBI singles his next 2. That one a generous call. We'll keep an eye on Toby Basner. Prado lines it into center field. That's a base hit. Got the hands up. Shoots it for a single. Mets defensively. Southwest brings it to you. Cespedes limping around in left. Conforto getting that first start in center. Granderson out in right. Reyes and Loney on the corners. Cabrera and Kelly Johnson up the middle. And Rene Rivera, good throwing catcher, is behind the plate. Here's Yelich. Another nice night last night. Yelich is hitting 10 straight. Had 3 singles and a walk last night.
This is interesting. Already third ball hitter, runner at first. Not like there's a runner at second that they're discussing the signs here. Rene Rivera, Steven Matz. Probably discussing strategy this early in the game. Something you would probably think that they would do pre-game in the pitcher-catcher meeting.
Well, Matz at times has been hurt by lefty bats. Johnson, and on the turn, Yelich will beat it. So Christian goes after the first pitch. Fielder's choice. And here comes Stanton now. Well, a big night in a lot of ways for the Marlins and Stanton last night. Number 1, the Marlins got the win. Number 2, that little spot up on the scoreboard where Stanton blasted a reported 447-foot home run. That was the StatCast distance. It was home run number 21. And here is Matz to Stanton. Fastball up and in. Fastball. Stanton turns briefly. And that's right on the letters. 6 homers against the Mets. Remember, he had that great series up in New York where he hit home runs in 4 consecutive at bats. It was right before the All-Star break. And Matz has pitched him up and in on all 3 pitches. Good speed at first with Yelich.
Well, just like the Marlins pitch Cespedes hard in, the Mets are doing the same thing with Giancarlo. G's hitting .625, 10 for 16, 5 homers, 10 RBIs in his last 4 games versus the Mets.
Breaking ball way in.
Crossed him up.
Stanton walks. Barry Bonds likes it. Bonds, from the moment he walked into the locker room in spring training, has preached patience and discipline. And this is the guy that it seems to have affected the most, Marcell Ozuna, and he comes up now facing a lefty. Rivera now out in front of the plate with some signs for his infield. Ozuna, like Martin Prado, has hit lefties quite well this year. And time called as Basner steps out. 354 is Ozuna against lefties. That's 5th in the National League. Off speed for a strike. Pounds that fastball in. And just like that, it's 0-2.
You get an idea there where they want to pitch Marcell. You see it inner quadrant again. Rene Rivera being aggressive inside to try to open up the outer part.
Oof.
That's a close pitch.
Very close pitch. And that should have been strike 3. So a break for Ozuna. Yelich at second, Stanton at first. Breaking ball, bounce to third. Reyes to second in time to get the out. Miami leaves 2. Into the second, scoreless.
West Kendall Toyota.
Oh, what a sweet look that is. Big piece of pizza on a Sunday afternoon with the Mets and the Marlins battling not only in the East but also in the wild card standings, and a scoreless ball game. James Loney, Kelly Johnson as Drupal Cabrera for the 51 and 45 Mets. And a strike to Loney. The Fish at 53 and 44. 9 over is Miami. Moreno trying to catch that outside corner. A ball and a strike. Loney to center. And Ozuna makes the catch. Tomorrow night, it's the Marlins and the Phillies at 7:10. All you can eat seats are just $25. And if you're in the military, a first responder, a veteran with a valid ID, you can get complimentary tickets on South Florida Heroes Monday. Go to Marlins.com for more. if you joined us from the outset of the telecast, Jessica Blaylock and Jeff Nelson discussed the reports on MLB.com that the Marlins have scratched Wei-Yin Chen for tomorrow night's start. The reports also saying that it will be Jared Cozart up from AAA to make that start. Don Mattingly did not speak to the media before the game, but he will after the game. And we will have that for you on Marlins Live postgame. Echevarria on to first in time to get Kelly Johnson. So far, so good for Jose Urena. He does look a lot like he did against the Phillies.
Keeping the ball down, executing game plan, not only down, but down and away. Good late movement. Kelly Johnson hits that very well, but hits to the wrong guy. Adeiny getting down low, funneling the baseball, replacing his feet, and then following the throw. That's 3 of the 6 Fs from Perry Hill.
Well, I think there's actually 7 Fs, to be honest with you. Because if you saw that last shot, you saw Echevarria look into the dugout, put his finger one way or the other, and then hop to his right. So maybe that's find Perry Hill in the dugout. I think that's the first of the Fs. Find Perry Hill, and then you bring in the other 6 Fs. Watch this.
There it is.
Now watch the move. He just hopped over to his right.
Well, Perry Hill is easy to find for every infielder. The same spot all the time. Talk about being anal about defense. Nothing gets by Perry.
1-2 to Asdrubal Cabrera. Good moving fastball there. Sends Yelich back. And short of the track, he makes the catch. Jose Urena has retired all 6 that he's faced. Scoreless Mets and Marlins. AutoNation provides us a scouting report. Actually, Eduardo Perez provides us the scouting report.
Well, you see the New York Fire Department on top right there. He hosts the firefighters during Wednesday home games at Citi Field. Sweet music, we're talking Frankie V. Frank Viola mentored this man, Steven Matz, in the minor leagues, and tough sledding. He has had a rocky go at it since his nice start to the season. 0-5, 4.73 ERA in the last 9 starts. Opponents are hitting over 300. One of the biggest reasons he has not been able to get through the lineup twice cleanly in the last 6 starts.
JT Realmuto chasing a fastball. Derek Dietrich, Danny Echevarria, Marlins have Miguel Rojas in the leadoff spot. Real Muto slotted 6th. And Matz misses away. What would your scouting report look like if you were the hitting coach preparing your hitters to face Steven Matz?
I'd actually not only study Matz, but also Rene Rivera. Rene Rivera behind the plate loves to pitch in, wants to establish in early in the game. So the first time around the lineup, I actually have my hitters looking one location, and that's up in the zone. Easy to catch up to anything thrown in. When you're standing tall, you can react with your hands. I don't like to tell hitters to look in, because that really cancels and nullifies anything from middle away.
Well, he's away against Real Muto.
He was. You saw against Ozuna, was able to establish in. Away with JT there. One thing, having the bone spurs, he has not thrown a lot of curveballs like he did earlier on in the season. So he needs to be able to be successful the first time around with that fastball.
Here's Dietrich. You almost expected that one to clip him in the elbow, just missed. National League leader in getting hit by pitches. Dietrich had that 3-hit game up in Philadelphia, and you felt maybe he was pulling out of this slump that he's in. But 0 for 7 in this series. Rivera. And there's 2 outs. Danny Echeverria. It's a big day for the Mets organization. The second player to enter the Hall of Fame wearing a Mets cap, Mike Piazza, with the induction ceremonies up in Cooperstown. Second Met, first Seattle Mariner to go in as a Mariner, and Griffey Jr. Mets will be retiring Piazza's number in a week. And of course, Piazza was a Marlin for 5 days.
5 days.
5 days. Marlins don't have a inductee in as a Marlin, although Gary Sheffield has made an inference that if he does get there, he wants to go in as a Marlin. He felt his best years were with the Fish. Oh, 0-2 to Echeverria. Breaking ball clobbered into left. Good swing by Echeverria.
Really surprised Matz threw that breaking pitch. Hadn't gone to it this inning. Gets him 1-2. Big mistake on his part also, leaving it hanging out over the plate. And why is it such a big mistake? You're thinking just a single. Well, now you get Jose Urena out of the way. If he makes it out here, you have Miguel Rojas leading off the 3rd inning. This is where Terry Collins cringes. Rather getting Urena to lead off that 3rd inning. Get that 1 out.
You can see Urena, not an accomplished hitter. Ideally, you'd just like to get him up there in a bunt situation. because you see the swings and a quick at bat for Ureña. 3-2. Baseball is brought to you by T-Mobile. Follow along with us, Nelson Cruz and the M's had a big day at the Rogers Center. Mark Trumbo, first to 30. He's having a terrific year. Alex Colomé, not so much. He had a save streak going, and the All-Star gave up 2 homers in the 9th. There's the score, Marlins and Mets. Mike Piazza, I think he's supposed to be someplace else today, and he is. Inductees into the National Baseball Hall of Fame, Junior and Piazza. Ceremony's underway. The resumes of both. Griffey getting the highest percentage of votes in Hall of Fame history. Fastball is in.
How does he not get 100%? How does Cal Ripken Jr. not get 100% of the votes?
I'm with you. Conforto lifts it into left field, and the Mets have their first hit and their first base runner. Rene Rivera and Steven Matz also due up here in the 3rd.
Well, Ureña better be aggressive first pitch down in the zone, because Rene Rivera hunts first pitches, loves them. Get pitched down, maybe get that double play, end up the inning with Steven Matz.
Travis d'Arnaud with the day off. Rivera stands in. Conforto at first. Slow tapper. Prado picks, fires to first in time to get the out. Couple of things about Griffey and Piazza that are really fascinating. And this to me is a real stunning stat. Ken Griffey Jr. is the first #1 overall draft pick ever elected to the Baseball Hall of Fame. No #1 overall has ever arrived in the Hall of Fame. He's the highest player drafted, obviously, and Piazza is the lowest.
62nd round, right?
1,390th overall in the '88 draft. It really is amazing. And Griffey had over 99% of the ballots. Piazza got in at 83%. Ureña, Conforto hustling down to third. And Conforto ends up 90 feet away. Ureña gets the out.
What about Jose Ureña? This is the second ball he gets hit right back at him. Showing you his fielding abilities, but then the presence of mind of checking the runner, saying, okay, no problem, I don't have him, let me get the out. No hesitation whatsoever, and that's what you like to see out of a young pitcher.
So now it's Reyes.
It's not every day you get to see your dad on TV, getting his name introduced at the Hall of Fame. Really cool right now as I'm watching here Reyes.
Fastball misses up.
It's a new suit he has on too.
Yeah, your pop's looking good as they introduce all the stars, all the Hall of Famers.
It's not every day you get your godfather introduced right after your father.
Orlando Cepeda, baby bull. Reyes takes out.
In Reyes' first at-bat, Jose Ureña kept everything down and away. First strike was down and away to him. After that has missed twice. 1-1 was with the breaking pitch. Going with a two-seam fastball down and away.
Reyes left center field. That's going to score a run. And Reyes headed towards second, thinking third, and on his way in there. And the Mets are on the board first. Second triple for Reyes this year.
Game of adjustments. Jose Reyes has already seen a handful of pitches down and away, eliminates the rest of the plate and looks that way and drives it into left center field. And then his speed takes over. See his legs and told me a couple days ago, I'm starting to feel him again under me. Let's not forget, he has not really played in almost over a year. So this is like the end of his spring training. Terry Collins believes he's a great addition to the team, adding spark at the top of the line.
Granderson takes a strike and it's 1-1. Giving chase is Prado, and it's into the seats. Tim McDermott is our pregame and postgame producer at times. Jack of all trades for Fox Sports Florida, and he points out that Chipper Jones is the next guy that probably goes in as the first overall pick, because he was a first pick of the '90 draft.
5 years to be eligible. Chipper Jones.
2012, his last season.
Should be another lock. First ballot Hall of Fame.
But I don't think he approaches the vote total percentage that Griffey had.
No, and it's interesting, and I would love to hear the opinions of the voters that do not vote him in on the first year ballot.
Ureña strikes out Curtis Granderson, but Jose Reyes bites the fish again. Mets on top, bottom 3 here in Miami. On Tuesday, it's the Fish and the Phils, and you can enjoy big discounts on all tickets. The Steals and Deals Tuesday offer deeply discounted tickets, most seating categories on any Tuesday home game this season. Next Steals and Deals game is coming up on July 26th. That would be the Fish and the Phils. Marlins.com, the place to go. Second time through for the Marlins against Steven Matz. Adjustments, you would think, from Matz and from the Marlin hitters. He struck out 2, walked 1, and gave up a couple of hits through the first 9. He is zeroed in on the strike zone quite well right now.
See where that curveball was, down out of the zone. Miguel fighting it off. That's where he wanted to pitch at Daney. Instead left it up, and Daney got that linea. Look for the fastball here.
You can see one of the reasons that Matz has been successful, and that is the willingness and the ability to pitch in. High fastball, and he strikes out Rojas. Let's check in with Jessica Blaylock.
Hey, Rich, every player has a busy offseason. That includes Mets pitcher Steven Matz. Back in November, he took a 5-day trip to Honduras with an organization called Hearts for Honduras. While he was there, he spent his time building a learning center for children. You can see him right there. He said it was such an incredible experience. You spend so much time during the season focusing on yourself. It was nice to take a moment to just focus on others.
Well, that's good stuff. Thank you, Jess. And you know, the other thing about Matz, his name is so familiar that you forget he only pitched 6 games last year in the big leagues, and that was before making 3 postseason starts for the Mets. A start in the division series against the Dodgers, a start in the LCS against the Cubs, and a start in the World Series against Kansas City.
Last year in September, Ricky Bonas, which is the bullpen coach for the New York Mets, told me, and said, I know we have Syndergaard, we have DeGrom, we have Harvey. Steven Matz has the biggest upside out of any of our pitchers. And to me, that's a strong statement being made from an ex-major league pitcher that now is, in charge of, and the responsibility of a lot of arms with the Mets.
Martin Prado has been on base twice now. He works a walk. And here comes Christian Yelich. Matz, like many of the starters for the Mets, has had Tommy John surgery, but it was back in 2010, just as he was starting his professional career. He missed both the 2010 and 2011 seasons. Yelich takes in. He bounced into a fielder's choice back in the first. 5 hits in the series, and Yelich's batting average started the day at .326, and he's inching a little closer to second in the National League. He sits third right now. He's got a ways to go to catch Daniel Murphy. Murphy opened at .349, Wilson Ramos .331, Yelich at .326. Martin Prado and JT Realmuto also in the top 10. Chopper over the mound, and bang bang, Yelich out at first. Prado arrives at second.
Nice focus right there by Kelly Johnson at second base, knowing he has to rush to get Christian Yelich going down the line. Goes for the short out at first base. Big out. First base open now for Giancarlo Stanton. Remember, last time, hard in all the time, then went with a curveball to walk him inside.
See what Stanton gets here. Mets don't shift much. And Stanton right up the middle. And there's Johnson, who was a few steps to his right. Hit it on the button. Matz escapes. 1-0 Mets. Getting ready to go to work on Yoenis Cespedes. Pitch by pitch, his first at bat.
Watch every pitch. Not one was in the strike zone. Everything was hard in, even the strikes. Swing off the foot was way inside again. Inside, and this one even farther in. See how Jose now approaches Yoenis.
Starts him in with a fastball.
And those are the pitches he was swinging at in that first at bat after the 2-0 count.
That was out over the plate and a strike, and it's 1-1. Cespedes 30 from Cuba, but lives in Boca Raton in the offseason. So if you're wandering around the Boca Mall in November and you see a guy with a neon sleeve on.
Let's try golf course more than anything. Maybe not the mall, but the golf course.
Okay.
Every day during the off season, that man will be in a golf course.
Healthy rip, and Urania gets the strikeout. 3 strikeouts for Urania on the day.
Frustrating as a hitter. You see that that ball was tumbling up top, hanging slider. I think it's going to cut a little bit more. It does not break. Swing right under it.
Loney takes a strike. Loney's got a 7-game hit streak, and he's done damage in this series. Big 2-run homer in the final moments on Friday night. Had a sac fly yesterday, knocks it into center. Ozuna under it, makes a catch. Kelly Johnson now. Johnson takes away. Wonder what uniforms the White Sox are wearing today against the Tigers.
Not the cut-up version, right?
No, not the cut-up version. Chris Sale was scratched from his start. Apparently he didn't like the throwback uniforms from yesterday. Those were the untucked version, the Bill Veeck version, not with the shorts, from the 70s. And Sale didn't want to pitch in them, so he took some scissors to them and cut them up. And the White Sox have suspended him for 5 games. Scratched him from his start yesterday. They had to go to their bullpen, and that game was suspended. It will be resumed. It starts in about 7 minutes. 3-3 Tigers and White Sox.
And I congratulate the White Sox for that. No player bigger than the game. They're trying to honor the past with your throwback uniforms, and you just respect the game. I don't care how good you are on the mound.
Yelich on the move, makes the catch. Nice tidy 1-2-3 for O'Reilly in the 4th. Mets on top, 1-0. Brought to you by Dodge. Visit Dodge.com or your local dealer today. By the Coral Springs Auto Mall, across from Coral Square Mall. We make it easy. And by Subaru of Pembroke Pines, price, service, selection. You're going to love us. Beautiful day here in Miami. Marlins and Mets finishing off a 3-game series. Fun ball games for sure. Dramatic late on Friday with the Mets win. Marlins yesterday beating Jacob deGrom, and Jose Fernandez doing it with his arm and his bat. Marcell Ozuna's glove waiting for him. He gets jammed and sends it out to Granderson in right. Homestand continues tomorrow as the Phillies are here. Marlins Live. We welcome back Jeff Conine and Craig Minervini. South Florida Honda dealers bring you Marlins Live rematch with the Phillies, and another look at Jeremy Hellickson. It'll be fascinating to watch that. Hellickson baffled the Marlins up in Philly with what many around not only the Phillies but other scouts say that's the best they've seen Hellickson throw. See if he can duplicate that tomorrow night. Down the line, Reyes. And Real Muto is out by less than a step.
This is a play that gets around Jose Reyes, doing a lot of this at shortstop. Now moving to third base. So far making a smooth transition. Just happy to be back on the field. Grateful for the opportunity after a lot of distractions off the field.
Reyes suspended in violation of Major League Baseball's domestic abuse policy. Released by the Rockies. Dietrich hits on his way to first. Sounded like it hit the elbow guard. Now that was up maybe above it.
I think it did. Hit probably the top part of it.
Yeah, that did not sound like a tricep, did it?
Brandon Geyer leading all of Major League Baseball, and Derek Dietrich in the National League now with 19.
There should be some sort of award for that, right? Like the Ron Hunt Award, the Don Baylor Award, a bronze ice bag or something.
Craig Biggio, Don Baylor Award. Don Baylor had no armor.
Don Baylor,
no ear flap.
Don Baylor was a bad dude, man. He was.
Yes.
He was one of the toughest. With the Orioles, the Athletics, a variety of other teams, the Angels, Red Sox. And a really, really terrific player.
Steve Matz has a lot of life on his fastball. The one that hit Derek Dietrich, 94 miles per hour. This one, 93. But it's not just that it's 93 or mid-90s. It has movement also. Running away from righties into left-handed hitters.
The fact that he commands it so well.
Well, this is the best that he's commanded. And I was in Chicago watching and working that game against the Cubs where he faced. He looked fantastic the first 2 innings. And then the third inning just fell apart. Could not locate. Everything was staying up in the zone.
This is the second time through for the Marlins order. Echeverria singled in the second on a curveball. And he swings and misses there. And Matz leaves Dietrich at first. Mets holding a 1-0 lead.
The stretch by Gossage, the pitch. There's a drive to deep right field. Back goes Kemp at the wall. Home run! And they're going to claim that Brett's bat is illegal. Billy Martin is out of the dugout. They're looking George Brett's bat over. And they're called George Brett out, and here comes an argument. Here comes an argument. George Brett at the plate. Oh, and he is furious. He's trying to get to an umpire. George Brett may have already been suspended.
Great scenes in Major League Baseball. George Brett and the Pine Tar game. Billy Martin protesting. George Brett then called out, negating a home run. And Brett had to be restrained by umpires, by his manager, by teammates.
Love the reaction. Rightfully so. You worked so hard to get that home run. Biggest stage in Yankee Stadium.
Now,
the home run.
Technically, their Pine Tar was too high up on Brett's bat.
Really? That was the reason why he hit a home run?
No.
That's why I love now that you have to go to the umpire before the at-bat. After the at-bat, let's not do it.
Now, the story had a happy ending as far as Royals and Brett fans, because Major League Baseball ruled they had to resume the game from that point, and not pleasing Billy Martin. The interesting note in the Marlin tie to that game was that Don Mattingly was in that game, and actually at the end of it, Billy Martin was so fed up, I think he put Ron Guidry in the outfield, and Mattingly was at second base. If you look at the box score of that game on July 24th in 1983, Yankees had Ken Griffey Sr. in there. You saw Nettles, Piniella played, Don Baylor we just talked about, Dave Winfield, Steve Balboni, Steve Kemp, Rick Cerrone, Royce Smalley. Guidry played center field. 2-2 from Cabrera is popped up. Real Muto sees it and makes the catch. There's plenty of Pine Tar on just about everything to do with baseball. Brett would go 3 for 5 in that ball game, and he drove in 2. Kansas City won the game 5-4. Jose Urena has pitched well. Michael Conforto with a single. That was in the 3rd inning, and he would score on a Reyes triple with 2 outs. Counts 1-1. Michael Conforto getting a start at center. Terry Collins apprehensive about putting the youngster out in center in this ballpark especially. Shed coming in, he probably wouldn't put him out there in this series. But Yoenis Cespedes is nursing a sore quad. Juan Lagares started the first 2 games. Conforto in his first inning on defense made a terrific diving catch, robbed Miguel Rojas of extra bases.
To me, he's the key to their success offensively. You have to be able to get him in that lineup in order for them to be able to compete in this division. Last year, second half of the season, when he came up, big difference.
Conforto rolls it into center field.
Everybody talks about Yoenis Cespedes, but if you look at what Michael Conforto also did offensively, really solid swing throughout, using more of his backside, helmet almost coming out, just staying compact. It's not what he was doing earlier in the season, was using more of his front side. Get ready for that first pitch here.
Rene Rivera.
There has not been a first pitch fastball that Rene Rivera does not like.
How come guys can't get over that in their career? I mean, Jeff Francoeur was a guy that early in his career, and still now, will swing at just about anything straight on the first pitch.
Oh, anything straight Rene Rivera likes. He just does not like being behind in counts. Right now, you can see the frustration a little bit. Okay, I'm 0-2. He's looking at that scoreboard saying, I have to protect anything within the 305, 786. We have to even go into a different area code all the way up north to the Palm Beach area. He'll swing. Check it.
Pretty good pitch. And it was on the black. Actually more than the black, and had the outside of the plate. Sometimes as a home plate umpire on a pitch like that, where there's a bit of a check swing, the focus is on the swing. Two and two. Two balls, two strikes. Jose Urena, 66 pitches in. Mets have the only run of the game. Jose Reyes triple knocked it home with 2 outs in the third.
He's worked this count all the way back to 3-2 from being 0-2. Can't give in right here with a pitch down the middle. You see where they're trying to attack him all inside. They threw that slider down and away. Most likely the Mets will not send Conforto here with Steven Matz on deck, even though he's a pretty good hitting pitcher. You don't want him leading off the next inning.
Swing and a miss. Let's check in with Jessica Blaylock. Jess?
Hey guys, this is the second start for Jose Urena since being called back up. In his last outing, he was great against the Phillies. He made it through 5 1/3 innings, only gave up 1 run. When Don Mattingly was asked why does Urena deserve another start, he said simple. He got outs. He also looked comfortable on the mound, and he gave us a chance to win. And guys, you mentioned it again. Urena looks comfortable out there today.
Prado on to first in time. Matz bounces out, and Urena through 5 has given up just the 1 run. A 1-0 Mets lead. Mets and Marlins. Finale of a 3-game series. Mets got game 1. Marlins answered last night. So a lot at stake for two teams dueling in the East and in the wild card. Steven Matz has been terrific. Jose Urena has been very good for the Fish. And it's Urena who will stand in against Matz, who's in 61 pitches, with Miguel Rojas and Martin Prado to follow. And a strike. Urena happy to get a second chance in the rotation. When he arrived in the big leagues, I went up to say hello to him, and I wanted to check pronunciation of his name.
And he said?
And he said, Urena.
Well, then why is there not a tilde?
I asked him that. I said, why the no tilde, making it an enye? And he said, well, I'm not sure, but I'm not really going to ask. He was just so happy to be in the big leagues and to have a major league uniform and a number that he figured, you know what, why push it?
On my scorecard, he has a tilde. So if I am going to say Urena, so you have to put a tilde on there.
For those of you out there that are worried that I'm mispronouncing it now, it is Urena.
The way he's pitched last time out today, I'm gonna lobby for that tilde. Let's free the tilde. Hashtag free tilde.
They'll have, I think when they do that, they'll have a brief ceremony at home plate and present the tilde to him. Rojas with Prado to follow. Miguel pulls that one foul. The Marlins trying to solve a guy that they've handled this year, Steven Matz. And Matz really looks locked in today. Rojas trying to protect. It stays 0-2. He had 3 starts against Miami and an ERA of over 7. We see pitchers stand on either side of the rubber. Matz over on that third base side. How does that help him?
Well, it's all about 1, comfort, and 2, if you see the late run he has on his fastball, it gives the right-handed hitter the appearance that the ball is in the strike zone longer than running away. See that right there, that pitch just a little bit outside, but has good late run. You're a hitter, you see that guy with a 2-seamer, you have to be aware to cut off the plate and not give in at all on the pitch inside. Try to bring it in front door, 2-seam action.
Tell you what, Rojas doing all he can to stay in this at bat, has punched a few of those tailing fastballs up into the seats. Center, Conforto makes the catch. So 2 outs here in the 5th. Here comes Martin Prado. One of the teams that is expected to make a push in the National League wild card and possibly in the Central. The Pittsburgh Pirates ended up getting some bad news. Tyler Glasnow, one of their young pitchers, has discomfort in his throwing shoulder. And he was taken out of the game last night in the 4th inning, placed on the disabled list. The number 8 overall prospect in baseball, according to MLB.com. Marlins have a trip coming up in Pittsburgh in August. Prado singled in the first, walked in the third, so he's been on base twice. But there isn't a whole lot else in this box score for the Marlins offensively.
Talk about protect mode. 2-2 pitch. Martin Prado just throwing the hands, didn't even rotate with the back part with that right leg of his.
Prado another hit into center field. The best in the National League against lefties. He's 2 for 2 against Mats.
Quality right there again. Steven Matz going with the slider. See his reaction. It's great hitting by Martin Prado after fouling that off. And had a teammate of mine, every time you saw a pitcher do that reaction, he would call it the trout look. Go trout fishing, pick them up, reel them in. Fish is looking at you going, really? Trout look.
Nothing to do with Mike Trout.
Nothing to do with Mike Trout. His phrase was there when Mike Trout was a baby.
But there are probably some pitchers that give the Trout look after a Mike Trout at bat. Yelich twice has bounced to second. 2 outs. Here are the 5th.
Huge at bat with Giancarlo on deck. The way he's swung the bat lately against the Mets. Get on base and away. Christian has been getting pitches. Aggressive swings, especially against left-handed pitchers.
Yelich takes in. Now Mats has given up a couple of home runs to lefties. Of course, Yelich, in this 10-game streak of his, has upped his home run total to 10. He's got 3 homers in the streak. Trying to get the hands through on an inside fastball. Mats has pitched into righties and to lefties. Well, this is going to give Prado a head start at first. Stanton's on deck. Yelich trying to get on. Miami trying to get on the scoreboard. Yelich into left field. That's a base hit. Prado's going to take third or try for it, and he is safe. Close play. Cespedes, of course, has the great arm. And obviously a gamble with Stanton due up.
Well, you look at the pitch here. Up in the zone. Yelly staying through with it, letting it get deep. Gets that base hit, an aggressive base running. You said it, Rich. Yoenis Cespedes showing the strength in his arm, throwing off his left foot. That's a play that's all Martin Prado.
Well, that is really close.
See, and one thing Jose Reyes has to do is keep the tag
glove
on.
Yeah.
Keep the glove on Martin Prado.
You know, the Mets looked at that, but they chose not to challenge it. Has to be clear and conclusive.
That challenger. You never know.
So Stanton now, and a buzz goes around the ballpark. 4 hits last night. A mammoth homer that banged into the scoreboard way up in left field. 447 feet. Toyota gives you an inside look. Home runs by opponent, the Mets atop the list. Yelich at first, Prado at third. Matz misses up with a fastball.
I would not even throw a strike to him. You know, the way he has swung the bat as of late, he's locked in. You've seen the damage he's done against the Mets already this season. This is one of those intentional, intentional walks.
Little more of a shift to pull for Stanton here than his last at bat. And he does a little dribbler towards short. Cabrera to first. Got him. Man, that was close. Stanton hustling all the way, runs pretty well. Cabrera was very deep, and the difference there is a run. Oh, just got him. And so the Mets, after 5, still up 1-0. Well, this looks more like a pitcher's duel than last night's Jose Fernandez-Jacob deGrom matchup. Jose Urena, Steven Matz. A fastball to Reyes misses. It's 2-0. Top of the order for the Mets. Reyes knocked home the only run with a triple with 2 outs in the third. Curtis Granderson, Yoenis Cespedes for the Mets.
This is where Don mad at me right now, and Juan Nieves have to be able to keep an eye on Urena. You're at 72 pitches, 3rd time around the lineup.
Splits the plate. Count full. Reyes right center. Stanton in pursuit at the track. Makes the catch.
Let's take a look back at Giancarlo Stanton at his at-bat. This curveball, 2-0. Pitches inside. You see him leave his strength. And then right now, after that, in the outfield, upset, visibly upset at that last at-bat. I like to see that, though. See that passion he's had. He expects more out of himself. No complacency there.
Granderson takes a strike.
And you have to know as a hitter when and they have to go after you, when they don't. That was a point they did not.
Granderson, a little flare, big turn. Yelich gets to it quickly, and it's a base hit for the Mets right fielder. Yelich channeling his old infield self from high school there as he tried to throw on the run. But a hit for Granderson. Now you've got Cespedes. This has been a fascinating matchup. Urena and Cespedes.
So far, Urena has come out on top with 2 strikeouts on the day for Cespedes.
Cespedes, liner, left field and deep, corner and foul.
Well, that's where Yoenis has been pitched to all day long, and he knew he was coming in, cheated in. Only problem was he could not keep it fair. Fortunate for the Marlins. That ball is way inside. Now you have a choice if you're Jose Urena. Can you get further inside than that?
Now, you see where the pitch was. All of a sudden, the Marlins contingent's coming out from the dugout. And you've got a manager, a pitching coach. Dustin Luker, one of the Marlins trainers, is there. That's the last pitch.
Nothing stands out from that, though.
Huh. Ball and a strike to the Mets slugger. He went to the backup leg guard.
Still says Cespedes on it, but no design. You think they're drawing the other one up now?
Probably send.
Shengard.
Probably will send this into the shop to get the little Cespedes silhouette.
This one's actually a little bit, covers more of the leg.
It's not quite the Griffey Swingman logo, which is kind of the iconic logo of the 90s, late 90s, early 2000s.
And the sleeve still has the elbow guard.
See, there it is. That's
see Cespedes written in katakana.
Just in case you don't see his number. Just in case you don't know what number he is. Two. Prado got one. Dietrich turned. Safe at first. The Cardinals come in after the Phillies. And on Senior Day, on July 28th, Cardinals and the Marlins will play. Seniors 55 and older can get free tickets presented by Wellmax Medical Centers. It's a 4-game series starting on a Thursday night. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Cardinals and Fish. Well, I think Yoenis Cespedes' quad feels okay, having watched him get down the line. That has to be good news for Met fans. That was a concern, but man, he motored.
Did get down the line.
And remember, he was limping around a lot after fouling a pitch off of his shin guard.
Has been getting a lot of treatment. Ray Ramirez, the head trainer for the Mets and the staff, had been on that before and after games.
Well, Urania now is an out away from getting through 6. Loney cracks it left center. Yelich is there and he makes the catch. And Jose Urania, 6 innings, just a run, but it's 1-0 Mets. And Mets, Marlins have won 8 of their last 10, 24-37. At home, Mets 25-25 on the road, but 9-13 on the road since winning 2 of 3 at Marlins Park back in early June. My dad's a Mets fan. I'm a Marlins fan, but I still love him. Jose Urania came in after that last half inning when shot foul. Tom Manley gives him the handshake. It looks like he's done. Ozuna sprays a ground ball that Loney has. Miami's bullpen, Mike Dunn is up. Have Kelly Johnson due up first in the 7th. I'll tell you what, if this is what the Marlins get from Jose Urena every 5 days,
You take it.
what they got in Philly, what they got today, absolutely you take it. And of course, the Marlins rotation is in even more flux tomorrow. Media reports are that Wei-Yin Chen will be skipped from his start tomorrow. No reason given yet. Don Mattingly will address the media after the game. And that in all probability, it'll be Jarred Cozart who gets the start up from New Orleans, which obviously means the Marlins will have to make a move on their roster. Cozart's in 10 starts in New Orleans, an ERA of just over 4. The walk's still an issue. His last start, he walked just 1. I liked what Jeff Nelson said on Marlins Live before the ball game. When asked about Cozart, he used Urena as an example. He said, look, when you get an opportunity to get back to the big leagues, something can change in you, and you have to take advantage of that opportunity. Urena certainly has, and the Marlins are hopeful that Cozart will as well. Let's check in with Jessica Blaylock. Jess?
Hey guys, I had a chance to talk to Juan Nieves on what he thought about Jose Urena's outing today. He said that he felt like it went really well. He did a nice job keeping the ball down. That's one of the biggest challenges for Jose Urena. He also felt like he mixed his pitches well and did a nice job of keeping hitters inside the ballpark. So again, another nice outing today by Jose Urena.
Yeah, 1-0 Mets lead. The problem for the Fish, Steven Matz has been even better. He has had pinpoint control. His fastball has been very effective.
Well, Terry Collins just thinking about trying to get the baseball to Addison Reed in the 8th inning. Trying to get at least an inning and a third more out of Steven Matz.
Breaking ball, Dietrich to right. And Granderson is there and makes the catch. Matz goes 1, 2, 3, 6 shutout innings from the Mets lefty. On Wednesday, it's the Phillies and the Marlins. That's a 12-10 start. It's a Chevron Crazy 8 Wednesday. If you fill up your car with Chevron with Techron gasoline, bring your receipt to the Marlins Park ticket office. You get to choose between 2 Lexus Legends level tickets or 1 home plate box ticket for just $28. Visit your local Chevron dealer today. Now, Wednesday, a couple things to keep in mind for Wednesday, as Mike Dunn checks into the ballgame. Wednesday's game is not on any schedule as a television game, but it is now. Fox Sports Florida will televise. Behind that dark curtain is the 2017 All-Star Game logo, which obviously is here in Miami, and the commissioner, Rob Manfred, is here on Wednesday. He will join us in the booth. So a lot going on. The game is on television, number one. The All-Star logo will be unveiled. It's number two. The commissioner is with us. That's number three. If you want to go further, it's camp day. How's that?
I like camp day.
Jose trying to cheer everybody up. Dugout right now. Kelly Johnson, Asdrubal Cabrera, Michael Conforto with Mike Dunn. Fastball popped up, Echeverria out, Yelich racing in, and it squares up, makes the catch. Mets box score, Conforto with a couple of hits, and the hit for Reyes was an RBI triple. That in the third, and it scored Michael Conforto. Hansel Robles. For Mike Dunn, the challenge this year has been getting up to speed without the benefit of a spring training. Forearm strain knocked out his spring. Put him on the disabled list to start the season. Came back throwing and pitched in some minor league games. It was not sharp early once he arrived back in the big leagues. Has put together 2 scoreless outings, both of those in Philly, where he picked up a win in relief. Training so important for pitchers because they get 6 weeks really of a schedule, pitching every other day at times. Breaking ball, Prado on to first in time. Ichiro, of course, the other storyline this weekend. No starts for Ichiro, but in that spot, he appears to be getting ready.
I told you the Padres don't come back, man.
Pitcher spot is
They
due up
swinging,
second.
dog. Them motherfuckers ain't playing.
Juan Nieves out to talk to Dunn. Juan Legares.
It's they got bases loaded with 1 on. I think it's 5-4, 4-3.
Legares hitting for Conforto.
And now what you do is you're up 1-0 if you're the Mets. You bring in defense. Conforto's first start in center field. You might as well just bring him in right here anyways. Go left on right. Mike Dunn has been very economical with 8 pitches. Make that 9 pitches so far this inning.
What a bonus it would be if the Marlins could get Mike Dunn online. which would just add to a very deep and very good bullpen right now. 2-0. Robles is up. Matz is at 99 pitches. Healthy cut by Legatus. Phillies tomorrow night. Marlins' next off day isn't until the Mountain Time Zone.
Denver?
Denver. There's a day off between Chicago and Denver.
Nice place to have a day off, though.
Yes. A run of 20 straight games without an off day. 3-1. He lost him. Here comes Rivera. And here comes Don Mattingly. Kendall Toyota with this call to the bullpen. David Phelps. Miami's pen, 1-0 Mets. Teams. David Phelps is in with Juan Legatus at first. Phelps, his ERA just a few ticks below 3. Mike Dunn gets a couple of outs, but Phelps will be asked to end the inning. Rene Rivera, Mets catcher, and then Wilmer Flores occupies the on-deck circle now. So would you rather face and get Rivera than bring a guy like Flores up, who's hurt the Marlins and has hurt a lot of people lately? He's had a great July with his power numbers.
The Marlins no more lefties in the pen after using Mike Dunn. Interesting that Terry Collins would go with Flores and not Diaza. The only left-handed hitter they have on the bench.
Phelps appeared in the series on Friday night. And he gave up a run. Center field's Ozuna is there. He makes the catch. So the Marlins pin a tag team effort in the 7th. 1-0 still. A 1-0 lead. Jose Urena getting his 2nd start of the season, and he was fantastic. 86 pitches, 4 hits, a run, didn't walk anybody. He was down just like the Marlins have preached to him. Steven Matz with a lot of fastballs on the inside and on the outside, mixing in some breaking balls. 99 pitches for Matz. And this in the 3rd inning. Jose Reyes with 2 outs, punches one into the gap in left center field. And that would score Michael Conforto, who had reached on a single. And that's it. That's the scoring. The bullpens are in play now. Hansel Robles coming out of the Mets pen. And in the Marlins dugout, the Fish trying to figure out a way to get on the board. Juan Lagares stays in the game, and he's in center. And a look at Robles. Now, in the bottom of the 7th, in all likelihood, you will see Ichiro. He's got the arm pad on, got the bat. Pitcher spot is due up 2nd. With Echeverria leading off, probably Ichiro, and then Miguel Rojas. Rich Waltz along with Eduardo Perez, Jessica Blaylock. Jeff Nelson will join us on Marlins Live postgame.
Hansel Robles has been throwing the baseball very well. And Danny Echeverria, I think this is a good matchup for him. Likes to throw the fastball out over the plate. Also features a slider. Danny has looked very good so far in the series, 3 for 9. With the approach that he's had going the other way, could be beneficial for the Marlins.
You can follow the Marlins and all of Major League Baseball with the MLB.com at-bat app. Stay up to the moment with Game Day, live game video highlights, StatCast, and more. Download MLB.com at-bat. #1 app for live baseball on your phone and tablet. I don't have the Arepa app on my phone yet.
You have that one in your stomach. That's where that app belongs.
So it's Robles and Echeverria. Ichiro's on deck. Robles threw on Friday night.
It'd be interesting to see how Don Mattingly plays this. You do have Miguel Rojas in the hole, and you see Don Kelly there with the helmet. If Adeiny gets on, don't be surprised if you see Don come up next to try to bunt him over, then have Ichiro hit for Miguel Rojas. The Mets do have a lefty warming up in the pen. Ichiro very good against left-handed pitchers also. Big Jerry Blevins.
Echeverria rolls it out to short. Cabrera, and there's out number one, and here comes Ichiro. Don Mattingly has been very consistent with the way he has used Ichiro. There was some thought he would start in this ball game, but if you look at how Stanton is swinging it, how Yelich is swinging it, how Ozuna has done against lefties, you understand why Ichiro was not in the lineup. 4 hits away from 3,000. And a strike. It's 0-1. Misses in, and watching the induction ceremonies from Cooperstown today, you can just imagine that day when Ichiro arrives in Cooperstown. It's a terrific article in the New York Times this morning about Ichiro and the Hall of Fame. Here's a 1-1. It's a strike. And it's about Ichiro visiting the Hall of Fame after his rookie year in Seattle, secretly. He's been there 6 times. It is a terrific read. And he strikes out on a fastball. And just like that, Hansel Robles has 2 outs.
Electric stuff from Robles. Ichiro's bat head not even close to that fastball. It's a tough job coming off the bench and being able to hit velocity.
Now Rojas 0 for 3. That missed everything. Thankfully Rojas, but also Rivera and home plate umpire Toby Basner for that matter.
Rojas did not even flinch almost.
Since June 21st, not many better than Robles. A 1.56 ERA. And 5 wins out of the bullpen. Of course, the back end of the Mets pen, very good. Addison Reed, Jeurys Familia. Familia has saved 50 in a row. One and two. See Rivera imploring him to stay down, keep the ball down.
That means slider. He wants it down. Fastball.
Boy, 98. Hansel Robles blows the Marlins away in the 7th. In the 8th, Hall of Fame Sunday in baseball, Mike Piazza and Ken Griffey Jr., the 2016 inductees. The resumes are just overwhelming. You look at Jr. and of course Piazza. Both times, both guys 12-time All-Stars. Mike Piazza. Not known for his defense. It was his bat that got him to Cooperstown. And there's that pose, that swingman pose from Griffey, the iconic look. He was the best defensive center fielder I've ever had a chance to cover and watch on a daily basis.
Just a natural ball player. Even when we were 5 years old playing in Riverfront Stadium in Cincinnati, the tunnels, played wiffle ball during the Reds games, before the Reds games, during the games we were not allowed to play. We had to watch baseball games. There were good games to watch too in the 70s with the Cincinnati Reds.
Who else was in those games?
We had Pete Rose Jr., my brother Victor, Craig Griffey, his younger brother, also Tommy Helms Jr. A little bit older than us was Brian McRae. Ed Sprague was there for a year. Not a bad team. Not a bad group of kids to be around.
Ed Sprague was a World Series MVP.
Yeah.
Alejandro De Aza. Swing and a miss. Ball rolls away. Realmuto's throw not in time. And the Mets get a base runner.
Not the way you drew it up if you were the Marlins. You get the strikeout, yet nasty slider. JT's not able to get in front of it. And Alejandro right quickly realizes it, gets to first base. Let's have the leadoff base runner.
Kyle Bearclaw, third out of the bullpen. Reyes, great speed, good bunter. You had to be careful on a bunt that you don't take too long thinking about second with the speed that Reyes has. Bearclaw delivers out. And a strike. De Aza back with a dive. So 6 innings of Jose Urena. Run on 4 hits. Didn't walk anybody. Mike Dunn 2/3. Phelps got the last out of the 7th. Bearclaw trying to keep De Aza close and maybe see if Reyes would tip his hands on a 1-1 pitch. One and 2. Got him, or did he foul tip it? Well, now the Marlins are going to come. Reyes turned to the home plate umpire, Toby Basner, and said he fouled it. And Mattingly right now is not real happy. And he's going to ask Toby Basner to ask for help, although that's a tough call to make from third base.
And Jose Reyes did this a few days ago also in Chicago. Said foul ball immediately on a slider he missed, and clearly missed it. Let's see if he comes even close to this pitch right here.
Does not appear that he hit it from that angle. Now this is a better look.
Tough to tell from both angles. Really tough to not look like it from the center field side.
Well, that solves it. Bearclaw splits the plate with a fastball. So Bearclaw has 2 strikeouts, yet just the 1 out.
It's like Jose was sitting slider again. Sometimes you guess. That time, advantage Kyle.
Granderson 1 for 3. De Aza still at first. see the 16 home runs and just 29 RBIs. 14 of his 16 homers have been solo homers. Of course, he, before Reyes arrived, usually occupied that leadoff spot for the Mets. 6 leadoff homers, but then 8 more solo shots. Just missed. And he's gone 3-0. Terry Collins in the Mets dugout. And he walked him. Now you get into Cespedes and Barraclough. Barraclough's strikeout pitch, the slider. Cespedes 0 for 3 on the day with 2 strikeouts.
Cespedes loves hitting sliders. They have to be well-placed sliders by Kyle. Outer part must establish inside. Guaranteed. JT right there said, let's focus on Cespedes. If you're going to miss inside, not over the plate.
So big moment here. Marlins pen trying to keep it close. Mets looking for insurance. Cespedes, who was instrumental in getting the Mets to the postseason last year. Big swing.
Great location. Down and away right there. That appears like it's going to be a strike. Just sails away at the last moment.
Diaz at second, Granderson at first. Cespedes calling timeout. Barraclough already has 2 strikeouts in the inning and a walk. But De Aza reached on a wild pitch. Reyes would strike out. Granderson has walked. Ball and a strike. Slider. Ozuna can't get it. Falls in front. Round third, De Aza. And he scores. And that was the matchup. Barraclough slider, a devastating pitch. Cespedes loves sliders. And he drills one to right center.
Yoenis Cespedes is known for staying back, guessing sliders. Does not like fastballs too much, especially up in the zone. Gets a slider he can handle, goes the other way. Drives in a run, and most importantly for the Mets, puts them up 2, but now you have runners at the corner. This is the one guy, just like Giancarlo is for the Marlins, Yoenis is for the Mets.
Now Loney with 1 out. Loney's driven in 2 in the series. Had a 2-run homer on Friday. Actually knocked in a 3rd run yesterday with that sacrifice fly. Cespedes at first, Granderson at 3rd. Ball gets by. Was it foul tipped? It was. It's a foul tip. Home plate umpire Toby Basner signaling that.
It was a delay in Toby not calling it a foul tip. Right off, you see it hits the bat immediately, but he hesitates in calling it. See, he has yet to put his hands up right there. JT did not know until then.
Umpires go by sound. You'd hear 2 noises, you know it had to have hit the bat before it hit the glove. 1-1. Line drive, base hit, right field, and the Mets add on. Cespedes racing for 3rd. Stanton has it. Loney hurts the Marlins again. He's driven in a run in each game of this weekend series.
This time off a changeup. Kyle's 3rd best pitch, leaves it up in the zone. That stance that James Loney has now really working for him, more consistent. It's that leg kick and foot down. And the Mets, which have struggled during the season going 1st to 3rd, have done it on back-to-back ABs with runners in scoring position.
And that Mets attack, adding on against the Marlins bullpen, it's been very, very good. McGowan up. And Bearclaw sitting at 19 pitches. Both managers working.
If you're at home sitting and wondering why Fernando Rodney did not come out for the 8th inning, simple. The Marlins do not have the lead. Down 1-0. Plus, the last 2 nights, Fernando Rodney, total of 49 pitches thrown. Most likely, unavailable.
Of course, last night he appeared in a 7-2 Marlins win. He pitched the 8th and had somewhat of a bumpy ride. But one of the strengths for Miami has been, whether it's Rodney or Bearclaw or Phelps, lately Whitgren. Those guys have been able to answer the call. Johnson takes in. And the count runs to 3-2. And you're almost at the point now with Bearclaw of diminishing returns. McGowan trying to get ready as fast as he can in the Marlins pen. Still only 1 out. Did he go? No swing. Bags are loaded.
Frustration by Don Mattingly also in the dugout for the Marlins. Looked like Kelly Johnson did hold up his swing right there. Barraclough already at 25 pitches. Juan Nieves on the phone with the bullpen.
Well, now Cabrera with the bags loaded. Infield looks for a ground ball. And Barraclough right now having trouble finding the strike zone. Ball and a strike. Two runs here in the 8th. Mets bullpen getting ready. Slowly hit. Rojas dives on his knee, and it pulls Realmuto off the plate. And the Mets get another run. Heck of a try. But the Marlins, I mean, going for the out at home, don't get any outs on the play. It's 4-0, and that'll do it for Barraclough. Well, wait a minute. Don Mattingly popped out, but he's coming out for a review. I thought maybe he was out to make a change. Watch the foot. Whoa! He may have kept it.
Might be a good one. And you see a lot of catchers sometimes they start with that left foot, but remember, first basemen go with the right foot on the bag to give them more reach. Is he on or not? From that angle, tough to tell. Might have a very compelling case here. I think he's on.
Yeah, I think you're going to need more evidence, though, to overturn the call. From the two views that we just saw. If there are other views, here's a look. That's pretty compelling. That's pretty compelling. Because you can see the shoe move the dirt, right? As he swipes across the plate. Back of glove.
I have him on.
So the Marlins are challenging. At stake, obviously, is a run and the out.
He's out.
He is out. Terrific play by Rojas, even better by Realmuto. And nicely done by Pat Shine in Miami's
What a month.
video room. I'm telling you, he
Pat Shine.
is, if not the best, one of the very best in baseball at this.
He's had a great year when it comes to reviews, but this one he had no hesitation whatsoever. Came out.
Well, Barraclough coming out right now. McGowan comes in. It's 3-0, 2 outs. Kendall Toyota called to the pen. To keep the toe on the plate. Part of that difficulty is the plate doesn't stick up like a base, and so you have to really plant the toe down on top of it. But he did it. McGowan takes over. And he gets Juan Legatas. Mets still have him loaded.
Not a lot of wiggle room for Dustin right now with the bases loaded coming in. Tough situation for a reliever. 1-0 count. Now you have to go and try to get a strike. Lagares most likely will be very aggressive here.
Ball and a strike. McGowan on the road trip pitched a scoreless inning in St. Louis and won, actually 2 in Philadelphia. Former Blue Jay who's battled through so many injuries to hang in. One and 2. Doesn't chase. Two and 2. Nationals and Padres 6-4. Washington bottom 6. Both these teams chasing the Nationals. In the East, Marlins 4.5 back, Mets 6 back. Ozuna is there and makes the catch. McGowan finishes the inning, but the Mets score 2 big runs, and it's 3-0.
Thank you to all the legends and Hall of Famers on this stage behind me. You all have given us great joy and inspiration. The only way I ever thought I would be here with you is if I bought a ticket. It's It is a testament to our great country and game that dreams can come true. You just need to be willing to pay the price.
An emotional Mike Piazza and an emotional Ken Griffey Jr. are in Cooperstown. Marlins Live will have more of both speeches. Addison Reed into the ball game for the Mets. Martin Prado, Christian Yelich, Giancarlo Stanton. Reed has been so good, and a great example of why an 8th inning guy is just as, if not more important than a 9th inning guy.
Need the bridge to get to that closer, and this man has been so consistent.
Prado bangs one into left. Martin Prado with 3 singles and a walk.
Then again, there's the due factor. Due to get hit. Hanging slider. Martin Prado knows Addison Reed throws a lot of strikes. Taking advantage of it. Third hit of the day for him.
Right-handed hitters just 182. Lefties 185 against Reed.
Martin, last 6 plate appearances, 5 hits, 1 walk. After those 3 strikeouts, somebody got him mad.
Yelich extended his hit streak to 11 with a single in the 5th. $19 hits in the 11 games. Miami down 3. Steven Matz terrific for 6. Hansel Robles pitched the 7th. Yelich takes up. He's sitting on a 2-1 pitch. Little tapper up the line, and Loney will retreat to the bag and get the out. So Yelich out number 1. Giancarlo Stanton and then Marcell Ozuna. Stanton without the mask against lefties, so no mask against Matz. Back on here against Addison Reed. And a fastball strike. Reed originally a White Sox draft pick, then a Diamondback, and then a Met. Wow, he just took 3 fastballs, all strikes.
Addison Reed just aggressive in the zone. There's nothing shy about any of those pitches. You see that second pitch probably a little away, but the third one in the bottom quadrant, that's where Giancarlo likes the pitches. Low ball hitter. Looks like he was looking off speed.
Ozuna to center. Lagares is there, and the Marlins come up empty against Addison Reed. 3-0 Mets. Transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. By Dodge. Visit Dodge.com or your local dealer today. And by your South Florida Honda dealers. Now about that. A Marlins throwback Piazza jersey. 5 days. Though he did mention his stop with the Marlins and his brief 5 days of playing for Jim Wheatley.
That's awesome there.
Rene Rivera, who's been along for the ride the entire game behind the plate for the Mets. You'll get Wilmer Flores, it looks like. He's on deck.
There hasn't been a first pitch that Rene Rivera has not attempted to swing at.
Quickly 0-2. And Rivera strikes out. McGowan has the first out of the night. The round baseball, obviously, on this Hall of Fame Sunday. The game that both these teams are watching. The Nationals and the Padres. 6-4 Nationals on top of San Diego. The Phillies, who are here tomorrow night, are in Pittsburgh and tied 4-4 with the Pirates, top 7. Cubs are losing to Milwaukee 2-0. Giants are still at Yankee Stadium, losing 5-2, top 8. One thing that always occurs to me on this day in baseball, love the Hall of Fame, love the induction ceremony, seeing all the great stars, seeing the new stars going in, Griffey and Piazza. But the problem is I can't see it. It's a baseball game. I wish they could find some time or some day where the Hall of Fame ceremonies aren't in the middle of a Sunday packed with baseball where every team is playing.
How about this?
Since your father's in the Hall of Fame and you've been there many times, I'm asking for your opinion and a solution.
Well, before the All-Star break, it used to just be 3 days. Now they've extended it to that Thursday. To me, or an idea, it should be that Thursday. There are no Major League Baseball games going on. The only problem you have is trying to get the fans to Cooperstown. And you want it to be on that weekend. And the weekend is about the fans.
Right. What about having the ceremony in the evening, Sunday evening?
Then how do the fans then, what about the fans that are there and sacrifice their entire day to then work the next day?
What about Saturday night and make everybody play a day game on Saturday?
How about Saturday afternoon and have everybody play a night game on Saturday?
See, now you're thinking. That's good. That one popped up. Real Muto is there, and he makes the catch. Jeurys Familia has saved 50 in a row. And he has a 3-run lead going to the bottom of the ninth in Miami.
And overwhelmed. The last couple months have been a blur. From the call from the hall to the calls from all the Hall of Famers that are sitting here behind me. I can't describe how that feels, but I can tell you that I was more nervous talking to them than I am now.
We'll have more of both Ken Griffey Jr.'s speech, Mike Piazza's speech coming up on Marlins Live. Post-game show brought to you by Checkers, Jessica Blaylock and Jeff Nelson. And of course, post-game clubhouse reaction, which is significant today. And that's for the Marlins pitching situation tomorrow night with Wei-Yin Chen. And probability the Marlins are going to skip him in the rotation, and Jared Cozart. All of that will be addressed by Don Mattingly after the ball game. Jeurys Familia. You see the saves and the opportunities. The streak stretches back to last year. 50 in a row. Real Muto first out of the chute. Fastball and a strike. Active Fernando Rodney at 17. And that's active. All time, he's got a ways to go. Eric Gagne at 84. But in a week's time, he could be second. Tom Gordon, Dee's father, is at 54. Jose Valverde got to 51. An inning of Addison Reed. That followed an inning of Hansel Robles. 6 innings, 6 shutout innings from Steven Matz. 2-1. Realmuto trying to get aboard. Derek Dietrich, Danny Echeverria also coming up.
One thing Familia does really well is keep the ball down. A lot of hitters have trouble laying off it, and he gets a lot of calls from umpires down in the zone, out of the zone. Good angle to the baseball with late movement. Not only fools the hitters, but also the men in black.
See the location. Great illustration of your point. Full count now, 3-2. Remember, he nearly blew a save in Chicago.
He did, and the Cubs were able to lay off pitches down. Derek Dietrich the other day had him on a 2-0 count. That 2-0 pitch looked like it was down. It was on the Fox tracks, and all of a sudden, umpire called it a strike.
Line drive center, Lagares there. Realmuto barrels it up. Michael Conforto got a start in center, and the first batter of the game sent the youngster flying, and he made a great catch.
Talk about setting the tone for the New York Mets. That set the tone, and then Conforto was able to get not 1 but 2 base hits on the night, on the day also.
Derek Dietrich. He's lined out. Bounced out. And has been hit by a pitch. Dietrich up the middle, backhanded there. Johnson to first. And Jeurys Familia has the first 2 outs of the night. And all that's standing between 51 in a row and Familia is a Danny Echeverria. Echeverria 1 for 3. Little tapper, that's a fair ball, and this game is over. Rivera with the tag, 51 straight for Familia, and the Mets come in and win the series. They take 2 of 3 from Miami. The Marlins will stay a half game ahead in the standings and set their sights on the Phillies, who arrive tomorrow night. Marlins Live is coming up. Don Mattingly's post-game presser. We'll find out about tomorrow night's starter and the impact on the Marlins rotation. More from Cooperstown as the Mets shut out the Marlins 3-0.